E Jean Carrol raises her reptilian head to come out against Trump in a recent article we're going to get to at the end, written by liberals. So, all caution. Welcome to Doug at Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. I try and give you guys kind of where the culture is going. And so when Kathy Griffin, she's the one who held up the bloody head of Trump in a artwork. When Kathy Griffin, this is like Trump derangement syndrome central. It's like going into an insane asylum. Has E Jean Carrol on as a guest. I like checking in on it. So welcome. Hope you guys find this as strangely funny, these two lunatics, as I do. Let's watch.
People think I'm tinfoil hat because I don't think he won in a free and fair election this time.
Oh.
No, I'm going to take a hit for that. And I understand.
You're going to take a hit for that because that is election denialism. And we were told back in 2020 that to deny the election, some of us got whole channels just vanished. There's whole talent on YouTube that got vanished for saying exactly what Kathy Griffin just now said, that you're undermining democracy when you say that there's something fishy about the election. She didn't find anything fishy in 2020 with Biden getting more votes, 8 million more votes than any other candidate has in the history of elections. But she finds it's odd now when Trump completely smears them after, Biden running a giant land lie campaign, barely being able to walk and communicate. And America realized that all the media was lying to them in the biggest cover-up. While they released 11 million illegals across the border and told you they weren't doing that the border was secure, they said that inflation was down when it was up. They've only bold-faced lied to you. And now suddenly Kathy Griffin wants us to believe her as a truth teller. I just find this interesting. And then E Jean Carrol, looking at her on the right, she's got a cowboy boot in the window there and her collection of who knows what eccentricities.
But that's just my humble opinion. I don't trust the Elon connection. I have my suspicions. And yet, at the tender age of 64, I never thought I would say something. And I know that sounds crazy, but I just had to put that out there because I can't resist getting in trouble.
Well, there's a wave of people who agree with you.
Yeah, they're the fellow inmates in your asylum. This is E Jean Carrol about the group of people who agree with them that the Trump election was illegit. We're going to find out. This is like the dossier. This is the psychological profile of these kinds of people.
A wave.
That's why I'm sort of saying it out loud now, because look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yes, you are.
But I don't, something about him winning every swing state, all 7.
You're getting a lot of agreement.
It's going to the Democrats. Something about it doesn't sit right with me, but I also don't know if we'll really find out anything in my lifetime.
Okay. I guess no one can find out the truth about any of this stuff. All I did was, so in this new statement, she's claiming that there's evidence that right after her incident with Trump, this is E Jean Carrol, right after her incident with Trump, that there's a claim that he went and met with Epstein. So I just ran that claim through Grok and asked it. So I'll show you the question I asked and I'll show you the answer Grok gave. Is there evidence beyond E Jean Carroll's statement that confirms Trump met Epstein days after the alleged Bergdorf-Goodman assault, which is what the entire lawsuit with E Jean Carrol was about? And here's what Grok says. E Jean Carrol claimed in her book, Not My Type, that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump ran into each other a few days after the alleged assault at Bergdorf-Goodman. In 1995 or 96, E Jean Carrol isn't sure which year, and that Trump shared details of the incident with Epstein. However, there's no independent evidence beyond Carroll's one statement to confirm this specific meeting or conversation occurred. No court documents, witness testimonies, or other records from Carroll versus Trump trial or related sources directly corroborate this particular claim about a post-assault meeting between Trump and Epstein. By the way, if this was useful in the court to specify a date, why wouldn't you bring up this as part of her testimony in the lawsuit? So she knew better than to even bring this up before a judge under oath. While Trump and Epstein were known to have associated in the 90s, including attending events together, no specific evidence ties them to a meeting in the days following the alleged assault. Carroll's account in her book and related post on X are the primary sources for this claim, but they lack external verification. One thing that E Jean Carrol knows that all of the right-wing influencers learned is you just put Epstein in any quote on X and you get clicks and you get paid money. So that's what I believe is her motivation on this story. Here's the New Republic. Under politics, E Jean Carrol speaks and she's throwing darts all across the Trump world. Joe Tacopina was disgusting, Alina Habba, deliciously arrogant. Plus, what she'll do with all that money if Trump ever pays it to E Jean Carrol. Here's what she says she's going to do with the money. This is going to be also kind of funny. In the 6 years since she first wrote that real estate scion, Donald Trump slammed her against a wall in the mid-90s and touched her bad in the department dressing room. By the way, this is actually what Tara Reid accused Joe Biden of, and no Democrat was interested in that story. E Jean Carrol has been reduced, as every woman stepping up to charge the R word, to a caricature of sexual essence. Is she pretty, hot, attackable? Not my type, said the president when asked about her story in 2019, even though in a disposition shown a photograph of her, he risibly confused her with another ethereal blonde, his second wife. But reductio ad whatever, this is poorly written, I'm sorry. One of the promises made and kept before entering politics, mandating higher heels and smaller bikinis, was what Trump said for women in his beauty pageants. By the way, that's the only reason why men ever watched beauty pageants. Besides Trump megaphone for personal insults, Carrol has had to confront the victim label that is so distorting to a woman's self-image. I think women are much stronger than that. And that afflicts any woman who accuses a predator, whether president or janitor. She could have accused him when right around the event happened, and they would have had to have lifted the statute of limitations to allow her to accuse him after he decided to run for president. She didn't do that. Let me get down to the meaty quote of her own observation. The book, it opens with a scene in which Trump lawyer Alina Habba is demanding that Carrol list all her former lovers. She studies Habba's Chanel suits and Chanel suits and colossal diamond ring, noting that her husband is suing the jeweler over the cost. She recounts how Trump lawyer Joe Tacopina looked her in the eye and suggested she not only hates men, but abominates men. She was musing about the amount of Trump iron it took to build such a sweaty, bull-like neck. These are such weird details. It's hard to even read this article. Let me try to find what she would do if she got her money down here. Here she ends the whole article with a question. What are you going to do with the money if and when Trump pays up? That's wishful thinking. I don't believe she's going to get a dime. Still hasn't gotten a dime. Carrol, I'm going to give it all away to causes he hates. And she has said that she is going to give it away to some causes that Trump is fine with. Anyways, I think it's delicious that she has not gotten a dime. Do you believe E Jean Carrol gets one dime from this? She's still holding out. It could still get appealed. I believe it will be appealed. I'm Doug in Exile.